Hi, my name is Aksik, aka Annika, and welcome to my channel. If you're new and if you've been here before, welcome back. Super happy to see you all here. And today's video is going to be a bit of a hodgepodge of different clips. I've didn't know really where to put anywhere else. I call these videos bits and pieces. So there's going to be different kind of a little, some news which are going to be at the end of the video. Really big news, which I consider like fantastic stuff. So if you want to see them right away, you need to skip to the end of the video. And I also have some other little clips with the kind of new stuff and just, a couple of little technique tips or tutorials and stuff like that. So, nothing very big and lengthy. These things usually get their own videos. I am working on putting a bit of a watercolor background. It's not background, it's watercolor base. Here pencils will definitely have to go on top. This book, I really like this book. The art is really cute. It's by Anne Kronheim, I think is the artist name. Let me check. I know that it was written somewhere. Designed, but yeah, illustrated by Anne Kronheimer. Sorry, Anne Kronheimer. So I missed the bit at the end of the name. And her art, I think she has different books in the same series. I think she has something with ballerinas. This specific one is the Princess's book. And although paper feels very nice when you actually touch the paper, it's nice. It's quite smooth. It's not thin paper. It's kind of your almost like a standard good coloring book thickness. Does not adore water, I have to say. It doesn't even sink in immediately. You can spread a tiny bit the color around, but it does break into those dots. I don't know if you can see them. Don't know. Here you should be able to see. Maybe if I take you into the even closer shot, you should definitely be able to see those kind of little dots that form. And the darker the color, it tends to be the stronger the dots are going to be. So yeah, it's not the easiest book in that sense to work with, but if I don't put too much water on, and if I work with fairly opaque paint, it's worse if the paint is very transparent and good quality, proper watercolor. I mean Western style watercolor. Actually looks worse in this book than cheaper like Chinese ones often, which are more opaque. And another watercolor that works well a bit better. I'm not saying that it works well, but doesn't give as many dots is also Prima watercolor, which also is more opaque watercolor. So these watercolors can be, I'm not saying that they are amazing, but you can use watercolor here. So I just want to, it's a fairly smooth paper, and on papers that are as smooth as that, I kind of prefer to have a bit of a watercolor base or something, because it actually creates more of a tooth for pencils as well. often pencils lay down better if there's a little bit of a water-based media like that down, because it kind of roughens up. Well, watercolor itself, it's basically ground pigment, so you have a layer of essentially very fine powder there, which is adhered to the paper and provides a bit of a tooth, but also you have even if you work like that with, some books, you can do it with water-based markers as well, that you scribble them onto the palette and then put them onto the paper with a water brush, the same way you would be using watercolors. And that also, because it roughens up the paper surface a bit, it essentially damages the paper surface, but that damage on very, very soft, very, very smooth paper, like a lot of coloring books would have, can be a bit of a godsend, because it also gives a bit of an extra tooth. So I'm just going to put a little bit. I'm using like very, very light bluish, that specific color. I got that from Temu. I think it cost 2.50, or was it? It might have been even less than €2, that little palette. With one of those little specials that they have sometimes, which aren't that much of a specials, but yeah, but these watercolors are quite opaque, but the color choice is really good, and it's great for kind of basing, especially in a book like this, which doesn't really like watercolor very much, because as I said, these colors are pretty opaque. But they are Chinese style watercolors, which seem to be, I don't know if I'm correct or not, but it seems to be that these ones, when Japanese watercolors, the likes of Kuretake, Gansai Tambi, and there's other brands around also that make basically Gansai Tambi. That's essentially a type of paint. That's not specific to Kuretake. That's just a kind of type of Japanese water-based paint, or watercolor. But it's not the same as Western watercolor. So that Japanese style watercolor, often if you put down a bit thicker layer, or full pigment, you get shiny surface, and on that shiny surface you cannot really put pencils down very well, or at all, to be honest, because I have actually burned with that a bit with Kuretake paint, that I put down really strong, vibrant layer, and then I couldn't really put anything on top anymore. So I'm trying to, but I have discovered that Chinese watercolors, if they're like Marie's, for example, and the cheap watercolors like this, if it says Chinese watercolor on Temu or AliExpress or whatever, they often have a lot of kind of pre-mixed, fairly opaque, interesting, kind of difficult colors also, but it doesn't get shiny. It retains kind of matte surface, and therefore it's better for when you want to put down pencils on top. So that was a long long explanations for something that is actually quite simple. So well, not much else to say at the moment. There's going to be a bit of a news at the end of the video, as I said, and well, let's start watching the little clips I have gathered. I thought that I would film a quick clip about flat acrylic marker backgrounds, and I am a fan of them. I like the look of them, when they're nice and truly flat, and I think they kind of frame the page really well, or the image really well. I often use them on different pages. I don't know if I have any in this specific book, but even in this one you can see, that one is not acrylic marker, pretty sure that's just acrylic paint, but the principle is the same. I like to put down some sort of a background. In this one I have actually splattered onto it, but that's metallic paints that I have splattered here. I think they're fairly kind of a cheap Chinese metallic watercolors, but totally okay for that sort of a purpose. And I think it really lifts and frames the image and just adds so much than just coloring it and leaving it as is. So I don't know if I have anything else that here that I would have used acrylic marker on. No, I have not in this specific book, but I have done it in a lot of books. And the principle is that, yes, it kind of, to me, it's always nicer than leaving the background just white. It just adds that extra to the page. It kind of finishes it off. But I have heard many people saying, "Oh gosh, it's awful. I put the acrylic marker down, and it looks terrible." And oh, I hate it. And the problem is that I have not seen, not it's not a problem as such, but it's just something to be aware of. I do not know about single acrylic marker, maybe SimTap if you keep pushing down the button all the time, but even that, that will give you a nice flat, totally opaque background in a first go. You can see, at the moment I'm using, I call them silver barrel ones. A lot of companies use these, that barrel, and these specific ones from Woomer. There's several companies that use these acrylic markers. They put their company name onto them, and this is a Woomer one. They sent me a sample, kind of a sample markers in the package when they sent the pencils. And well, when I bought the pencils. They didn't just send them to me out of the goodness of their heart. But you can see, they are exactly the same. And these are just no brand ones from Temu, and these are Woomer ones. So, if you have access to Temu or such, these ones can be totally just bought there. They're exactly the same. There's different brands of them. There's slightly different barrel shapes and colors. Some of them are slightly more opaque, some of them are not. But most of them, you will need 2 or 3 layers to get a nice flat background. But one tip that I'm giving you, if you want your, kind of, sometimes people say, oh, I'm going to put the first layer down and it looks awful. See, it looks terrible here as well. It doesn't look great when I put it first down, the first layer down either, on most of them. Sometimes with SimTap, if you work very slowly, then you can get flat background, almost, not perfect, but close to nice flat background down with the first go. And also, if I had put, for example, satin glazing down here and then worked on top of it with acrylic markers, I probably would have gotten away with one layer also. Why this happens, the stripe happen, is that for the first layer the paper is still absorbent and it's basically sucking in the acrylic ink or acrylic paint inside the marker, and kind of it uses a lot more of it, and in the areas where you're overlapping with the previous layer, you get those stripes like this here. So a lot of people now then, finish this and then start straight away coloring, putting down second layer, that, which is not actually a good idea, because the paper is still wet and still absorbent. And because it's wet and because you're now rubbing it again, you can actually mess up the paper totally. Give it maybe 10 minutes. Do something else. Go get a drink. Go to the toilet. Put a shading down on some other page you're working on, if you are working on some other page. Many people can't do more than one page at the same time. I totally understand that. I can't work on a single page. It just drives me nuts. I need to take a break sometimes. But just give it 10 minutes. until the paint, the layer is totally dry, like this, crispy dry. And then, first of course, you give a good shake, and you need to keep giving that shake throughout during the page. Not just, in the beginning, when you feel that the marker is getting a bit dry, close the cap. I constantly forget to do that. And give it another shake. Okay, and then when you go on top of it, it doesn't absorb anymore. And it also doesn't damage the paper surface. Because, as you can see, everything is sealed now. And everything is dry. So there's nothing there to damage. And you can actually work quite a bit faster. And in most of instances, if you let it dry in between, after the first layer, before you start putting in the second layer, just this extra 10 minutes makes all the difference. In most of cases, you don't even need third layer. It's just about a bit of a timing and a bit of a patience. So I don't know if you can see already, but now with the second layer down, it might not be perfect. If I wanted to get it really perfect, I would put third layer down as well, which I sometimes do. It depends on, how I feel about, how strongly that background is going to dominate. How much of it is there to start with. And then just give a little bit of a shake once in a while. And you instantly get more paint out. So keep doing that pretty often. So you get plenty of the acrylic ink or acrylic paint, whatever you call it, coming out of the brush at all times. So you wouldn't, if it gets a bit drier, then it starts getting more streaky. So keep your marker as juicy as you can, and it's not hard. It's just take couple of seconds to close the cap, shake, and go in again, and it's much juicier. If you're working with SimTap, these are Artex ones. They are a bit of a different beast because they have a button at the top that you press, and then it opens the valve in there a bit, and you just get heavier ink flow. So you can do it that way. But here you can now already see what a difference this is. Just the fact that you gave it that 10 minutes, and you will not, I don't think anyway, that I will need here to put down third layer. And as I said, with most of acrylic markers, you will need 2 layers at least, because it's mostly because of the paper absorbency, because the paper is just sucking in so much of the ink. But once the paper is sealed and you have let it to develop and settle and dry, then you're going to be all honky-dory. You can see what a difference, on the left and on the right. And it doesn't take long, because the second layer goes very fast and it's very effortless. It's much nicer to put it down than it was with the first layer, because with the first layer, when the paper is still sucking in the ink and absorbing, it's harder on the brush. It goes slower, whereas now it just goes very, very smoothly, very effortlessly, and it's very easy. Talking about flat acrylic backgrounds, this paint is called Golden SoFlat Acrylic Matte Paint, and I saw it on somebody's video. I don't remember who it was. I really apologize if it was you. I did not mean to just not credit you. And this is possibly in my humble experience now, the best, the flattest, the most opaque acrylic black I have ever tried. I can only speak of black because it's a fairly expensive paint. So I only bought one little tub. Those tubs that I bought is 2 fluid ounces. That would be 59 milliliters. But it goes long way. It has really good consistency. It's not too thick. It's not too liquid. You can pretty much use it exactly like this out of pot. I don't need to add any water to it. It just goes down really smoothly and really easily and absolutely opaque. And once it dries, it gives beautiful, truly flat finish. So if you want to do a nice flat background with minimal effort, you can see here the result now. It's still a little bit wet in some spots, but you can see how nice and flat it is. Yes, I'm showing you. I closed the book when it was a bit wet, and I have a stain on the next page now. But the main point is that you get really nice, really flat background, and you don't have to work for it hard. I don't know about other colors, but I can totally vouch for the black. I was working on this background during my live stream, and people seem to like it quite a bit. So I thought, why not to make a little clip about how I make it as well. I'm trying to get you closer. I have some bit of it ready here in the corner, so you'll see a bit better. This is what it looks like. It's kind of a like very colorful, kind of a bit hectic galaxy effect that I really enjoy, and it's really nice and relaxing to do. It's just not something you can exactly instruct how to do. You kind of need to be a bit chaotic about it. So I'll just show what I'm doing, and if you feel like it, you can try it yourself. What I find that sort of a thing really nice for is that if you have this kind of a flat, dead background, especially in Amazon books where black is not really black, it's kind of a darkish gray, and it doesn't look great. The print quality often isn't great. This one isn't the worst one now, but I've seen some really atrocious ones. So that would be kind of a nice way of disguising it or kind of working over it. And it, of course, needs a transparent pencil, obviously. That makes sense. So you're working on top of black with opaque pencils. Now, I went on the path of the kind of the easiest resistance, or no resistance, and I picked up my Prismacolors. Here they are. There is no rhyme and reason to it. You by no means, sorry, I hit the table. You by no means need the same colors. Basically, you just pick the colors you want to go with for your galaxy. I'm doing almost rainbowy, like I'm putting pretty much all the colors into it, but you can limit it to just blues and purples, or blues and purples, maybe a bit of green thrown in, kind of a glowy green, or maybe go very warm altogether and go for kind of reds and oranges and yellows, and then kind of a black in between. Like it's so many kind of ways you can do it, as long as you keep it slightly chaotic and no shape is symmetrical or organized, because that's how galaxies are. So, and that's actually very hard to do for most of us humans, because our brains want to see patterns and put things into patterns automatically. So you kind of need to control your urge to make everything a bit matchy, or create patterns and just put down haphazard shapes. And they'll also decide, like I, for example, want this wheel glow a bit, or kind of have brighter color around it. So I, of course, went pretty light next to it, the outside of it. I didn't want the inside to glow that much, but the outside, I wanted there to be a bit of a glow. That will all change. It will not, of course, stay like this. It will look nicer when the actual wheel itself is going to be colored as well. But you know, I don't know when I'm going to get to that. This so far my coloring this year is not going very successfully. I just, you know, haven't been able to do much of it. It's like weird things getting in the way. So how do I approach it? Well, it's a black surface, and if you want areas, you want to decide the areas when you want the colors to be specifically very bright. And then I at least like to put a bit of white in there. So I'm doing it here. I want to put kind of like a brighter blue area here, because see, the blue is kind of coming from there. I already have some white there. I will need to put some blue on top there, and blue, and I often pair blue next to it with kind of a like light violets or purples. So I'm making slightly lighter area here with white, and then going on top of that with blue will just, you know, look better. Just a second, I'm going to possibly get a little bit closer so you can see better what I'm doing. That's pretty much as close as I can get you. Sorry, I can't do better. So here we go. I'm putting a bit of white there, bringing it actually down here like this. So there would be, and also bring in some sticky outy bits of the white area. So it wouldn't be just one kind of a round or oval blob. It would be this haphazard, very organic shape. No, and I'm also wanting to, next to the horn, I want a bit of a glow there. Later on, I'm going to put more of a color on the edges of the horn. At the moment, the shading you see here, there's nothing here that is final. It's kind of the ugly phase, the dirty base. Basically, I have just thrown down colors where I felt that they would, you know, it's more so color stains than any blending, because on this paper it's the worst of Amazon papers. It's something that it's almost impossible to actually blend anything on here, because it will bleed all over the place almost immediately. So it's not nice to work on. So what I'm doing essentially here, because of that, is that I'm just putting down blobs of color, like this, kind of areas of color, and then afterwards I'll work over them with pencils and, you know, create blends. But because I have those color areas down, it still makes my blending work a little bit easier, because I'm not going to have that much of white of the paper to fight with. So it's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so I've made the glowy area here, and maybe a tiny bit here. Okay, that's it. That's the kind of the lightest areas I'm going to be putting out. And now I'm also going to work more with light colors. So I'm keeping my white next to it, and I am grabbing the blue I've been using here, kind of, you know, the brighter blue is non-photo blue. So I have non-photo blue here already down next to the cornucopia, or horn of plenty, if you prefer to say that in English. And I'm bringing it down and up a little bit, but I'm leaving tiny area up there because I want to put a bit of a color variation there, possibly some kind of a light purple like lavender or something like this, because the color variations here are the key. You just need to keep playing with the color. Here is one area that has already been left white by the artist themselves, or artists. So, you know, with cocoa wire, you don't really know the exact origin of the art. It's definitely made in computer, but this is now old enough not to be like, I don't think it's totally AI generated. It's definitely a copy paste with elements on the drawing software. But the central image, I think, is actually not hand drawn. I mean, drawing things in PC is also hand drawing, you know. It's okay, and I'm going to draw through some blue there as well. And where else do I want blue? Do I would put some blue on the black directly here, which kind of mutes it a little bit more. So you get this using the same blue, but you get slightly different tone and value. That is why, you know, if I want the color to actually display as very similar to what it would on white, I will put white underneath. Otherwise, it won't really work. And I'm going to now take the lavender. Is it lavender? Yes, it's lavender. And I'm going to, this is also fairly light color. And don't forget that I'm working on top of white anyway, white pencil. So it's mixing with white, thus was becoming lighter than it originally was. And I'm bringing it maybe in this corner as well, because it's coming from here. So we're going to have it peaking in this area, maybe going over this white spot here, and maybe maybe dropping it down a little bit here as well. And I'm making sure when I'm putting it down someplace fairly solid like this that I'm diffusing, softening the edges, and just bringing it like this here as well, so it would be a bit more interesting. And now I will also pick up something brightish, kind of a greenish. I want to kind of get almost a bit of a glow. Okay, I suspect that I was a bit out of shot for a little while there, but hopefully it wasn't too much. So I'm putting some glow next to it, and maybe it looks a little bit too greenish. I just wanted a bit otherworldly glow here. So in that case, I am taking the same non-photo blue, and I might go over it, this green. Oh, sorry, I didn't say what green it was. It's chartreuse. So I'm going over that chartreuse slightly, just to, or you can leave it very intense, kind of a greeny glow, but I want to bring it more kind of like blue-green territory. So I'm just mixing these two on the paper. And I think that result is pretty nice. And now I'm bringing in kind of slightly darker tones. So I'm taking first, this would be the true blue. It's not a lot darker, but it is a fair bit darker. So I'm just putting it next to the areas where I would have had, and kind of bringing it into the blue as well, to create value and strength variations, just as well as the color variations. So I'm here where there's kind of big blue area. I'm going to bring it in here as well, and I'm trying to bring it in not in continuous line, but a bit blotchy or zigzaggy or haphazard. Okay, I don't know. It probably is a bit hard to see, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to convey here. And where else? Maybe a bit here. Just creating a bit of interest and variations. And it's going to be hard for you to see because we basically very much are in the crease, and I'm not being super, you know, neat around the crease, let's be honest. So I'm going to blend it more into that area where I put the lavender down pure on the black paper. And also now, because I have some white down here, and I'm going over the white, this area is going to be slightly lighter. So it's like self-blending here. Okay. And now I'm also having, maybe in this area, I will drop in some pink altogether. So I have here process red. And I'm putting that tiny bit here on top of the white I dropped here. Just putting different colors in. Okay. And once again, I'm diffusing it out from where it's the most intense. Also bringing it into the true blue area here. Okay. And I might actually, it would be actually nice probably if I blended these two areas together a bit. So I might bring the non-photo blue here between that greenish kind of like blue-green area I created and the process red. And I'm going over that little, I don't know what it's supposed to be, cloud thing, little blob that the artist had put in. And on this area, because it's white, I kind of have to make sure that my pencil work is nicely smoothed out. Because on this paper, it's hard to smooth things out with Prismas, so you wouldn't have the white of the paper showing, which makes working on the black paper almost more pleasant on this type of paper. I don't know, I like working from dark to light often. It's just something I enjoy doing. Okay, so now I'm also taking, this would be now Imperial Violet, and I am going in some areas where there's black and where it's next to the lavender I had put down. And I'm creating darker areas with it. And once again softening the edges. And maybe here as well, next to those swirly clouds. Okay. And now I'm going to drop in some darkness. And I might go in first with Copenhagen blue, which is just a dark blue. But not one of the extreme darks. My colors are pulled from my old 120 set of Prismacolors, and that set actually has a bit of a lack in really dark blues. It does have the blue indigo, which will come into the game pretty soon here. So you can see I'm just kind of creating now darker areas here and there, adding a bit of a dark blue. And I'm trying to keep it a bit haphazard. So I wouldn't have super logical blends here and there. It's just here I'm just blending it into process red as is. Just with pressure. I'm diffusing, putting it down heavy here and then diffusing the edges very gently into the process red. It wouldn't work as well on white paper, but on black paper it kind of hides a lot of mistakes, or not mistakes, but kind of rough bits get hidden by the dark background. And now I'm going to take the indigo, which is the darkest color in this set. And now I'm trying to kind of lift the edge of the book here, which you won't be able to see very well, but basically I have to get as close as the crease as I can. I'm not going to break my heart over it, but I'm trying to kind of Yeah, that old set doesn't have enough dark blues to my liking, but you know, I'll manage. At least it had the indigo, but for some reason that indigo compared to other Prisma pencils, I could swear it's not as soft. It's a bit blotchy almost. I don't know. Either it's something wrong with the quality of that pencil, or it just still, you know, is like that or was like that. But this Prisma Indigo is, to my mind, not a very good pencil. So I'm creating darker areas here next to the cloud. I'm bringing it down further, even into the areas that I put them. Don't be afraid, you know, if you feel like, oh, okay, I already created blends there, color stains in these areas. I don't want to, you know, kill them by going dark over it, but, you know, actually look how you feel. You know, do you actually need more darker areas? Because you might have gone too light and you need to bring the contrast back, which is what I'm trying to do here. Because I think I might have gone a bit overboard with light colors. So I'm taking this area here back into dark, and this area is going to be here like totally dark. It's just I'm not going to leave that fairly nasty grayish blackish background there. I'm just putting some color on top of it. So now essentially you can see there's already a bit of a galaxy effect there. And in a moment, after I have that dark color down here, just making sure that I have enough, I am going to bring it back where I feel like I might want to strengthen the color. So I'm just putting more white into some areas. Because I haven't really burnished it terribly, I can actually go on top of this surface and lighten everything or brighten things randomly with white. So, and everything is going to look much more cohesive, of course, after I've brought the stars back, because at the moment all those stars here are getting disguised, you know, by the, and blurred by the pencils. So I might leave some like this blurry in the background, but I will definitely bring some more to the foreground, and that will, you know, smooth everything over. So here I feel that the white, I couldn't get the edges as soft as I wanted to, so I brought in again the non-photo blue. And wherever I feel like, you know, this area needs a bit more light, I'm bringing it back in. There we go. And this is how I do it. I don't know if it was helpful. Hopefully you can try. See if I actually now, I suspect that the glare of the lamp was disguising things a bit. I should have possibly used a different light. Let me see if I change the lights. You know, will it look better? Possibly, yes, I should have used a different lamp. But at least now you can see the effect I did here in this area. And it doesn't take a huge amount of time, but it does take a bit of working back and forth. You can go as fast, as tidy, or, you know, as calculated or as random as you want to, but that's one way of making a galaxy, which, you know, wouldn't really work the same way on top of white paper. But if your paper is dark, especially, you know, in some books where you have this kind of a flat dead black background, if your paper is like this, then that's one easy way to create a colorful or interesting background. And if you actually want to do that, but the background is is just white, you can easily create the same effect if you just put kind of black alcohol marker down, a very dark alcohol marker at least. It needs to be dark background. It won't work the same way or as well on light paper. I just yesterday received a package from Woomer finally, and they were supposed to come out with their new 90 color set of pencils, I think initially in October, and then things got delayed, and then they allowed pre-orders. And because I was really interested and I liked the 72 set, I did pre-order the 90 set of Woomer pencils as well, which of course means that I now have another new pencil set that I had I haven't forgotten about it, but I did not count on having so many new pencils suddenly in the house, because as you might have seen in my December haul, or kind of end of year haul, but basically it was all December, I got about 3 new pencil sets for Christmas, and then I got some from Vinted, and now I have a new set of Woomers. Not that I am unhappy about it, I really liked the initial Woomers. So I haven't gotten really proper playing with them yet. I do now, I realize, need to get a pencil case for them, because these two pencils don't really, they don't fit together as a set. Let's start with that. So there's 2 sets. One comes in a metal box, that's the original one, which is a 72 set. It's a hinged tin, and it comes in beautiful like this layout, and I've actually used these pencils a fair bit. I don't know if you can see, some of them are getting quite short, so clearly I like them. They are very soft pencils, easily blendable. I'm not saying okay, they're not Prismas, okay, they are Prisma adjacent. They have the same kind of a very soft feel to them. They don't smush quite as well together as Prismas, but they do smush if you kind of work with them the right way. And they are also quite opaque, very bright, and super easy to work with, and they're fast pencils because of that, because the lay down is rich and kind of vibrant and opaque. So really easy to work with pencils. And here's the underlayer. So your regular tin of 72 set of pencils. Now the new set is a totally different packaging. It's fairly non-standard size or number for a pencil set. 90 set isn't really kind of very widespread. Okay, and this is the color chart of the first set, which I still have on this. Basically, that was the cover or the binder of the box, like this, and underneath that was the color chart, which I thought was actually a nice idea, and I do use it, and it's very sturdy. Now the new set, as you probably have seen already, probably on the website, and already some people who have received them and done the unboxing and whatnot, comes in a cardboard box, which I like the idea environmentally quite a bit. It actually came in a box, so it wasn't in envelope or anything. It was shrink wrapped and everything, and yet still I don't know if it's a factory. I suspect it's a factory or storage or kind of a issue, but the box was pretty squashed here in the corner. The pencil, there was no damage on the posting box. That's why I think that they actually shipped like this. And the quality of the box, the way the paper is covering, there's kind of air bubbles a little bit in it, so that leaves a bit to be wished. But no damage to the pencil, so everything is fine. This is just me slightly whining. I usually don't care much about, a bit of damage, because what also is going to happen is I will put them into the case anyway, so the case, how neat and nice it looks, as long as the pencils are okay, I'm fine. But I do acknowledge that, that this corner also, is kind of squashed, and this is pretty badly squashed. And then there's 3 drawers, which probably because the slight squashing that is happening here don't open as well as they should. Although they do, open, but yeah, they're not really convenient to work. I tried to kind of, as I was swatching them, I took all the drawers out. You can't really, have them out like this and pull them out. They don't really let to do it kind of very well. It's kind of awkward. So yeah, I think that although, there is a box with drawers and everything, you either need to take all 3 drawers out as you're working, or you will put them into a pencil case, which I, prefer to do anyway. Most of my pencils these 72 boxes I actually kind of like, because of the way I like to work with them is that I have it open, and then I put one tray into the lid and another one stays in the bottom, and then I have a full view of the full set of pencils, which I kind of do like. I have this thing in my brain that I like to see everything that I'm working with. But now that I need to combine them, I will definitely need to get a pencil set, a pencil case. Now there's 133, I think, unique pencils. All right. That's another kind of complicated bit about that. Oh yeah, before I forget, and in the package there was also 3 of the acrylic markers, which are pretty much standard. Like, these are sold on Temu and AliExpress as pretty much no-name brands, the same ones, exact same ones, but they sent kind of a test of 3 markers. Pretty nice color choice actually. And HB pencil, nice Woomer HB pencil. It's kind of cute. They did say Woomer. Yeah, it said, see, Woomer there. Which will be used. It's already, I like that it has the eraser at the top, so it definitely will be used either by me or by my daughter. And it also came with 20 pack of Woomer. It's a coloring pencil paper, and it is actually nice with coloring pencils. I did test it. It takes loads of layers. Like, you can layer until the cows come home on this paper. So it is a nice paper. It has, a bit of a tooth in it. Don't know if you can see here, if I move it like this. One side and another side. There's not a huge difference between sides. One seems to be slightly more textured, but not hugely so. And, this is all kind of for experimenting. So it actually seems to be a nice colored pencil paper. So here come those 3 drawers. Let's take them out. Let's see, it's just easier. And then inside, because of the way the drawers are, and I think the box, because it's slightly squashed as well, I have this, the swatch card that came with it kind of always gets lost in the box. So I like that the swatch card is actually on slightly kind of toothy textured paper. Funnily enough, though, that paper gives you initially a bit of a wrong impression about the pencils, which I will kind of mention, kind of talk about shortly. So when also these are the pencil colors. You can see them here. They are very nice. I have already used a little bit on a page them, so I have a little bit of a feel. And yes, they are, in my opinion, the same. They're still nice and soft and very enjoyable, in my opinion, to work with. This is all very individual. I have heard people saying that they don't like them at all. I have people saying they're Prismas. It's like, no, not exactly Prismas, but they're good pencils. And they are possibly, from the budget pencils around out there, the softest and the most opaque and kind of, yeah, to me, one of the nicest. And what I like about them, well, this is, I've yet to see a proper proof, but they are saying that they are working on starting to sell them kind of an open stock. So, ideally, eventually, you could buy all of those pencils. If you run out, you go to the website and you order replacements. I think they have about 10 or 12, possibly 15 colors at the moment available already on the website. Amongst them, the white, which I actually highly recommend. It's a nice opaque white. Amongst the budget pencils, budget whites, this I think is the best white in the budget sets I have come across, and they do sell it very, very good price on their Woomer website. So this one I actually highly recommend if you just want to order some whites, the good whites. So about this chart, I was swatching out and using this chart because eventually I will probably kind of want to make a chart that has all the unique pencils in my order, but this one is now the chart that came with the 90 set. And as I said, the paper has a bit of a tooth, but on this paper, these pencils give out so much dust, it's not funny. It's like, I don't remember them being that dusty, because I did color with Woomers fair bit. I'm going to get you a bit closer so you can maybe see the chart, maybe even, can I get you even? Yeah, so now you can see the colors better. Here we go. So I had worked with Woomers before and I did not remember them being that dusty, but on this paper, I'm just taking a random pencil now and just putting, color down. And you can see right away how the dust is just flying. Like when I was coloring those squares in, because I like my swatch chart just kind of I know myself that, how it's going to look paler. I want kind of full mass color on my swatch charts. So, yeah, I don't know if you can, here you go. That's how dusty they are on this paper. And it's like, they weren't like this. I could swear they weren't like this. And then I tried them on different papers and on coloring book paper, and I did not have the dust issue. It's specifically somehow this paper that really makes them dusty. And I tested, actually, I thought, are Prismacolors going to be dusty on this paper as well? And I tried only with black, though. I didn't try with colors because I didn't have them out at the moment. But, there was no dust when I just put black Prismacolor down, so it must be something about this paper and those pencils, because they did not behave the same way on different papers. Like now, you do get a little bit, but nowhere near as much as on the sweatshirt paper. On this paper, actually, you get a fair bit, but when I was actually working in the coloring book with them, I got almost no dust. So on a smoother paper, they don't really dust much. On a kind of a textured paper like this one, you do get dust. But they still feel very, very soft. They blend together super easily. It's just, the paper they give you, which is how, paper that is good for coloring pencils. But it also obviously, because of that, has fair bit of texture. So you are going to get more dust. So if you are a coloring pencil artist that is working on more textured, more kind of a coloring pencil specific paper, or if you're working on mixed media paper, possibly, something just has a more tooth onto it, then take into account that fact I never really, kind of knew before I actually tried those pencils on that sort of a paper, that they can get pretty dusty on more textured paper. Although, this pencil here didn't give any dust. The darker one gave a little bit here at the top. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. But, not a huge amount. But on this specific paper, the dust was flying. I was constantly doing this so I could actually put my hand back on it to do the next cell. Yeah, I was actually terrified at the moment. Did they change the pencil somehow? No, it's just the paper. So at the moment I don't really have, oh yes, and one thing to kind of, before I go here, when you're ordering the pencils, if you want to order them, have a look at their website. There's 2 sets, but in these sets, I think about 29 pencils possibly are overlapping. Here you can see from Woomer own website a screenshot of their kind of a color chart that explains exactly what colors are in what set. So the column on the left tells you the colors that are only in the 90 set. The middle column tells you which colors are only in the 72 color set. And then the column on the right tells you which colors are going to be overlapping. So those are going to be in both sets. Now, it's a good idea to head onto the Woomer website and have a look at the full thing. I couldn't record the scrolling bit at the time there, but those overlapping colors, they are useful colors. But if you don't want to have overlapping colors, then you just have to decide which of the 2 sets you find more appealing. Or if you decide maybe that you don't mind having doubles of about, I think, 28 or 29 pencils, or you might think about it even longer and decide that you have quite enough of pencils already and maybe hold back for a little while. That's an individual decision. And here I'm just showing quickly, these are just rough blends. Okay, you saw them already, but these are just kind of rough blends that I did with new set pencils. Just pulled them randomly from the box, really, and blended them together. Kind of quick, dirty blends. There's no work, there's no transition colors. It's just 2 pencils, each of them, and just blended them together like this. Some of them, pretty jumpy, and I was able to do that with a minimal effort once again. And this is a toothy pencil that would take a while to get rid of all the pencil kind of texture on the paper. And of course if you want to get rid of that altogether, all you need to do is just work over them with a pencil blender, which I didn't really bother doing here because I was just testing how well they blend. But on the smoother coloring book paper, that will not be an issue. So you can see how smooth it is now. And I didn't work it very hard or anything. I just gave a little bit of go over with pencil blender. This specific one is Caran d'Ache one. So that's it for time being. I will get myself a new case, and I will put them into the new case, and I then kind of create my own color order and then work with them a little bit more, and then maybe talk a little bit more about them. We'll see if there's any interest in that or not. If there's not, I'll just quietly work along with them. I like these pencils. And now to the big fantastic news that I promised in the beginning of the video. It has been kind of happening and being prepared behind the scenes for quite a while. And it's about February. And in February, our wonderful Joe, who is known as Piggy Pens on YouTube and Instagram, is organizing this full month fundraiser for a World Cancer Research Fund, which is a subject that is, close to many of our hearts, and a disease that usually has touched our lives one way or another. So we as a coloring community we are trying to kind of give something back, return some of the joy and some of the goodness of what we have experienced here and on Instagram to the universe, and do something good. So Joe is organizing it, and it's kicking off on 1st of February with a 24-hour stream, live stream, where the 16 colorists on YouTube colorist, obviously. Some of them very, the big names, and some of them new rising stars. And each one of them has a portion of that 24-hour live stream, and we are coloring and trying to also raise funds. And here is just a second, I'm going to put it on this. Participate one way or another, or at least try to maybe watch our live streams and watch our videos, and just spread the word. And if you in any way can in February, maybe donate even a little bit. Every tiny bit helps and kind of adds the pot. So that's about it. I, of course, will put the video, the link to Piggy Pens, Joe's video underneath there in my video description, to the video that she actually explains everything in kind of proper detail. I just gave a quick idea of what is happening, but I am very excited to do it. I am very excited for the live stream and a bit terrified. So fingers crossed everything will go well, and fingers crossed we will manage to raise some, not huge, but at least some decent amount of money for the World Cancer Research Fund. So That's it for today. I kind of got distracted. I didn't do much here anymore. Hopefully, we'll see soon again and have a lovely, absolutely fantastic creative time and be healthy and be happy. And bye bye.